Orange, and tonight TV3 Sports presents high school hockey as the Green Knights of St. Joseph's High School take on the Pony Pirates of Seton Hall Prep. Hi everyone, I'm Matt Lachlan, along with me Pete Caggiano. We welcome you to TV3's coverage of scholastic hockey. Pete, we could talk about records, we could talk about the history of these two schools, but really just saying St. Joseph's and Seton Hall Prep, that's enough for hockey fans in New Jersey.
It sure is. The hockey fans in this area are just beginning to be treated to the hockey St. Joe's has to offer. For the past few years, they've played in the Bergen County League. This year, with the merger of the two leagues, we get to see how good of a team they are.
Well, they're coming off a state championship year in 1984. The Green Knights were 26-0-1 last season, and they've kind of picked up this year where they left off last year. They're 9-1. They lost a big score. We'll talk about that a little later on. Max Middendorf no longer plays for the team. He's up playing Junior A hockey in Canada. So we're going to turn our attention to the defense. Away from the offense, look at the defense. Eric Reisman is a big defenseman, and we say big, we mean big. I mean
Willie Huber big. He's 6'4", 210, and in their last game, he put 4 goals home to lead them to a big victory.
That was a win, 13-1 over Clifton. Reisman, 4 goals, 11 assists on the year for the 15 points. And this is a different kind of St. Joseph's team in that last year they had Middendorf, a couple of big scores. This year they're not scoring as many goals, and the scoring's a little more spread out.
A little more balanced, and they're coming off an 8-game winning streak. Their only loss earlier in this season. They've put together a real nice game.
Seton Hall Prep has a winning streak of its own. They have won their last 6 ball games, and the Pony Pirates are 9-3 on the season. We're going to talk about offense for Seton Hall Prep, and we've seen this player develop in his previous 3 years. He's going out in style as a senior, Dan Pracher.
Dan Pracher's not going out at all. He's here, and he's a good one. 35 goals this year in 12 games. That's almost a hat trick a game. For a high school player, that's outstanding. That's an incredible average when you think about it. As we take a look at him warming up on the ice, a hat trick a game is incredible on any level. On any level at all. And at this level in this competition, now with the league realigned and the competition so keen, so well balanced, it's outstanding. Two of the best teams squaring off at the South Mountain Arena tonight. We'll bring you all the action when we come back to the South Mountain Arena right after this break at St. Joseph's against Seton Hall.
Hello, I'm Kay Thompson Payne for Third World Information Exchange. Watch us every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. and every Thursday at 6 p.m. I'll be dealing with topics that are provocative, interesting, and exciting. We will also take a closer, in-depth look at some highly controversial issues. So don't forget, Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. and Thursdays at 6 p.m. That's Third World Information Exchange with me, your host, Kay Thompson Payne.
The first step on the road to a successful career is a college diploma, but college-bound students often need financial help. Suburban Cablevision, as an outgrowth of its commitment to community service, will again be awarding college scholarships to full-time students this year. Information on our scholarship program is now available at high school guidance offices within Suburban's cable system. To be eligible for consideration by Suburban's Scholarship Selection Committee, student applicants must be a resident of one of Suburban's franchised New Jersey municipalities, must demonstrate financial need, and must be recommended by their school guidance counselor. Information on scholarship awards is available only through school guidance offices, and there will be 4 scholarship winners announced in June 1985. The management of Suburban Cablevision looks forward to financially aiding students within its cable system and is proud to make that commitment.
Exciting night of hockey here at the South Mountain Arena. Matt Lachlan along with Pete Caggiano, and we'd like to introduce the starting lineups to you at this point. First for St. Joseph's, which comes into the game with a record of 9 up and 1 down. At left wing, they have Larry Maherter. The center will be Andre Sork, the right wing, Rich Brandy, and the defensemen, Eric Reisman and Rich Schelling. And in goal for the Green Knights, a senior, Vinny Petrullo. Petrullo defending the nets this evening for the Green Knights. Meanwhile, for Seton Hall Prep, Their left wing is Andy McLaughlin, the center Frank DeMarco, and the right wing Dan Prater with those 35 goals, and the defense pairing John Murphy and Greg McGillis. Very young team, Seton Hall Prep. Prater is a senior. DeMarco and McLaughlin are underclassmen. DeMarco a junior, McLaughlin a freshman, McGillis is a junior, and John Murphy is a sophomore. There's the goaltender, Steve Smith. Smith is also an underclassman. He's only a junior. So this is a young club that John Warchol has assembled for the Pony Pirates this year.
Matty, when talking to John earlier in the season, the one thing that worried him was his defense. He knew with scorers like Danny, he'd put a lot of pucks in the net, but he wasn't sure how well he would do as far as keeping the opponents off the board. And so far, he's done better than he has expected and better than most people have expected.
The officials for tonight's contest, Ed Holmes and Al Natelli. That's Ed with his back to you, talking to Frank Horan, the head coach of St. Joseph's. And there's Al Natelli, Ed's partner. Frank Horan in his 6th year as head coach of St. Joseph's. Last year had a near perfect season. 26 wins, no losses, and a tie, and they captured the state championship. They practice and play out of a facility in New York State.
Yes, it's up in Muncie, New York, called Sportorama. What it is a twin facility with 2 rinks at one location. Probably the thing to go to of the future, as it's the same thing as being done here at South Mountain Arena, as they're building a second rink right next door to combine the 2 here.
You may have heard the horn in the background, signaling the players to conclude their warm-ups. They're just going to skate in their own zone a little bit and get ready for the start of tonight's contest. This is the start of a very tough string of games for St. Joseph's. They may come in at 9-1, but if they come out of this next streak, Pete, with just 1 loss, that'll be a pretty impressive mark, because after tonight's game against Seton Hall, they'll take on Don Bosco Prep on Sunday at the Sportorama. That's a 9 o'clock start. Then they're home on February 2nd against Montclair. On the 3rd, they'll take on Seton Hall Prep again in a return match. And then on the 7th, they'll travel down and take on Brick down at the Ice Palace. So that's a tough streak.
Matty, you're talking 3 of those 4 teams are probably in the top 5 in the state. Don Bosco is probably somewhere around number 8 or 9. So that schedule is hectic. If they can come out of there with, I would say, somewhere around 3 of the 4 victories, that'll put them in excellent shape.
John Warchol in his 13th year as head coach at Seton Hall Prep, and he's had excellent teams throughout the years. Seton Hall Prep has made it twice to the championship round of the state final, losing both times. In '79, they lost a 2-1 decision to Brick. And then in 1983, they were shut out by Christian Brothers Academy by a score of 3-0. We will be bringing you the state championship, the 10th annual state championship this year. And in addition, as long as we don't get snow, that rearranges our schedule, we hope to bring you the semifinals. Championship is scheduled for March 9th. The semifinal set for the 7th of next month. Or excuse me, jumping the gun a little bit. January's almost over, but we're still 2 months from March.
Matty, that'll show everyone in our viewing area the top 8 teams, or I should say the top 4 teams in the state at that time. And I would expect to see the 2 teams we have here tonight as one of those 4 come March.
There's Vinny Petrullo. And Petrullo is a tall player, 6'1", goes at 215 pounds. This is a big team, a physical team. And we'll see what kind of an effect that'll have on a smaller Seton Hall Prep team. St. Joe's, of course, in the green. They're nicknamed the Green Knights. They've got the yellow and white trim. Seton Hall in the white jerseys with the blue trim. And we're just about ready for the start of tonight's contest. It'll be Andre Sork facing off against Frank DeMarco. Again, it'll be Sork centering the line of Larry Maherter and Rich Brandy for St. Joseph's. DeMarco centers the line of Andy McLaughlin and Dan Prater. And we're underway in the first period. The Zamboni machine did come out before the game, so the ice surface is pretty good. They'll slow down a little bit toward the end of the first period and, of course, in the second period, and then they'll clean the ice again between the second and third periods. Just to refresh the memory of those who are a little unfamiliar with high school hockey, there is no red line. You'll see it, but it is not considered in play, neither in high school nor in college play, as there's a shot on goal and a save made by Petrullo. A little pile up in front. Players pushing and shoving a little bit. No call made, and we'll have a face-off. And Seton Hall will take this opportunity to send some fresh troops on. We'll also have an automatic icing call. You do not have to wait for the defensive team to touch the puck behind the goal line. If it is sent in from behind the blue line to the opponent's behind the opponent's goal line, it's an automatic icing.
Absolutely so, Matt. Matty, Eddie Holmes trying to keep the game under control right from the beginning. Call. He's got one from each side. I think they'll both sit for roughing.
Frank DeMarco and Rich Schelling in the penalty box for 2 minutes at the 27-second mark.
Matty, both our officials tonight, both Al and Ed, are veteran officials. I expect them to call a good game in the respect that they're not going to call the little stuff. They'll let the boys play tonight. This is a big game. It means a lot.
This is Reisman behind the net. Ted McLaughlin hounding him. Good forechecking by McLaughlin. Reisman has it, and he'll try to circle behind his net and come out. Reisman, one of 3 captains for this team, tries to headman a pass, and it's knocked away and picked up by Kevin Kamansky. Kamansky, the sophomore center, circles in his own end. Banks it off the board for Ted McLaughlin. McLaughlin plays it back to Jim Bonner. This is Gary Ryan, a junior defenseman, off the boards looking for Kamansky. Kamansky can't control, and it's whipped back into the Seton Hall prep end. Behind the net, Ryan picks it up for the Pony Pirates, looking to headman a rush. Plays it off the boards, but Reisman will have it and send it back in.
Matty, already we see the contrast in styles as St. Joe's plays the dump and chase style, and Seton Hall a little more conservative, a little more control hockey as they try to make the press to spring a wing on the far side.
And we'll have an icing call made, an icing call. Correction, it'll be an offside call made, excuse me, an offside.
Matt, what they do in a situation like that, when the offside is made from a pass, they'll bring the faceoff back to the point where the pass was made from. That's why the faceoff, instead of being just outside the blue line, is at center ice where the pass was thrown from.
Here's Preacher. And a long shot on goal, handled by Steve Smith, excuse me, Craig Connolly taking the shot from good distance out. No score. We're just underway in the first period. Each team skating a man down, and they'll do that for the next 32 seconds. Frank DeMarco and Rich Schelling sitting out for Seton Hall and St. Joseph's respectively. And here come the Green Knights.
Matty, both teams look a little tight tonight. Nobody's letting loose. They're holding back a little bit. I think they're waiting for the other team to make a mistake so they can capitalize. But so far, neither team is playing their game.
And the puck sent in behind the St. Joe's net. Here's Dan Preacher out along the boards. Preacher with good stick control, and then is bodied off the puck, and it's taken away by St. Joseph's. Puck kept in by Seton Hall prep. Here's Greg McGillis going behind the net, bodied by Craig Connolly. Now the puck is picked up by George Schneider. Schneider comes in front, and a save made by Petrullo. Schneider came on the other side of the net, and Petrullo had to come up with a nice save as Schneider found himself in front. We're going to have an offside called as George Schneider was in ahead of the play.
Schneider made an excellent play, Matty. Here we'll see it. What happened was 2 guys collided and left them all alone. Here he comes out from behind the net. Here's the quick shot. Now watch the save right there as he kicks it out. Beautiful save.
.52 left to play in the first period. No score. Teams are at 5 aside. Shot blocked by the defense. Comes out near the blue line. Now it's sent across the blue line. It's picked up by Eric Reisman for St. Joseph's. Gary Ryan sends it ahead. Reisman intercepts. At center ice, puck poked away by Kamansky. Going to play a little sloppy right here as Reisman picks it up. Reisman gets around Ted McLaughlin, still with the puck. Looks for a teammate, now kicks it off into the corner. McLaughlin looks to clear it out and cannot, but here come the Pony Pirates. Out on the wing, this is George Schneider, the sophomore wing. Pulls up in the circle. Little backhander in front. And finally, it's taken away by Rich Schelling. Schneider with it again. Sent into the boards by John Anderson. Seton Hall tries to keep it in. Along the near boards, looking for a whistle. Puck is still free, and we'll have a face-off with 10:26 left to play. There's Frank Horan as St. Joseph's brings a new line out.
Matty, you can tell the team just starting to get into the game a little bit now. The intensity level that last 3-4 minutes has really picked up.
Played less than 5 minutes. We're still scoreless. Here's Rich Brandy. Bumped along the boards. The puck comes free, and it's sent into the neutral zone. Brandy will give it a chase along with John Murphy in the corner. And we'll have a face-off, and it will come to the right of goaltender Steve Smith as he looks at it. It'll be to the left as we look at it.
So far, Matty, the intensity has been good, but the shots on goal have been relatively low. If not for the one shot from behind the net, and the St. Joe's goaltender had to come up big, that's been just about it.
Andy McLaughlin plays it off the boards. Sent back the other way, picked up by Andy McLaughlin. There are two McLaughlins on this team, Andy and Ted, but they are not related. Here's Prater on a break. Nice pass, and is poked away at the last moment by Craig Connolly. Prater came in with a burst of speed, left a nice drop pass, but it was knocked away at the last minute by Craig Connolly.
Matty, that saved the goal. Prater was streaking down the left side. He left a beautiful drop pass, and Connolly just broke it up in the nick of time. Outstanding.
This is Ted McLaughlin, the junior. Kevin Kamansky sends it in as he takes a check. And Seton Hall make a change. John Amico, sophomore defenseman, has it for St. Joseph's. Playing it up for John Anderson. Anderson bodied off, and here's a steal. George Schneider is bodied off the puck. And St. Joseph's looks to clear, but cannot. Now they come out. Puck free along the blue line. And Seton Hall has had some opportunities here, but they have been unable to convert as we get the automatic icing that I was referring to earlier.
Matty, the hitting has also picked up here as both teams are waking up. They're playing with the higher intensity, and they're starting to use the body a little more. The elbows and sticks have been low, so it's been good hitting. There we see the St. Joe's bench, with a winning streak of 8 straight games.
Looking to make it 9 in a row here this evening against Seton Hall. John Pagomian will take the face-off for St. Joseph's. Kevin Kamansky out to take the face-off for Seton Hall. Kamansky has it, looks to play it out in front to Schneider. It just goes past his stick, and it's lifted into center ice. Gary Ryan banks it off the boards. It's taken there by Rich Schelling. Sent into the Seton Hall end. Here's John Anderson, looks to play it out in front and does, but at the last minute it's knocked away off the stick of Pagomian. Pagomian has it to the side of the net, goes around and out, now plays it out in front and a shot wide by Anderson. Excuse me, that was Rich Schelling coming from his defense spot to take that shot that went wide on Steve Smith. Here's George Schneider. Schneider lifts it into center ice, picked up there by Schelling. Schelling out with Eric Reisman. This is Reisman with the puck, the big defenseman. 6'3", 210 pounds. Nice hip check thrown by Gary Ryan. Now a shot that whistles past Steve Smith. Out to the point, the shot on goal, deflection, and Smith got his blocker on it. deflection in front on the shot from the point by Reisman, and Smith stayed with it.
Matty, that was a real tough save. That puck was deflected by his own defenseman. He had to move his right arm awful quick, and he did, just at the nick of time.
Petrullo plays it behind the net for a shelling, picked up by Eric Reisman. 7.5 left to play in the first period. Matt Loughlin and Pete Caggiano at South Mountain Arena. Seton Hall prep against St. Joe's of Montvale, and Steve Smith will cover up, and we'll have a face-off.
On that last play, Matty, or I should say the time before, Schilling came streaking in from his right point position, received the pass from behind the net, and let one go just wide. He'll be talking to himself on that one. He should have had a goal right there.
Puck kept in along the boards, and now it's sent out by Seton Hall. Little flip in front, just tipped wide by DeMarco. Good attempt at a setup by Dan Pracher, who fed his teammate perfectly. He just tipped it past and wide of the goal.
Exactly so, Matty. He has 35 goals, but he also has 12 assists. As we'll take a look at it right here. Here's Pracher coming down the left side. Here's where he sets up. He has the option to shoot a pass. He draws the defenseman towards him, now makes the pass. There's the shot, and he didn't get enough on it to direct it into the net as it went off the side of his stick and went just wide.
It's sometimes difficult when you watch a hockey game because of the movement of the camera along with the movement of the players to realize just how fast a player might be. But Dan Pracher has to be one of the fastest players in the league, Pete. Now, you officiate and see a lot more games than we do at TV3, but I would say over the years he's about as fast as I've seen.
Danny is one of the better ones. I say he's a prime candidate for MVP of the league this year.
This is Pracher, number 6, with the puck. Larry Maherter sends it in front, and a shot, and now a goal. Maherter putting the rebound in off the shot that was saved by Steve Smith. Andre Sork was in front of the net. Smith came up with the save, but Maherter put the rebound past Smith, and Seton Hall finds itself trailing by a goal, 1-0.
That's a scorer's dream right there. Here we'll see, that's Pracher who loses the puck. There's a nice play to knock down the high pass. There's the first save by Smith. Now watch, here he is all alone, puts it in a virtually open net. That's a scorer's dream.
For Maherter, that is his 3rd goal of the year. And it came at the 8:20 mark of the first period. And so Seton Hall, I would say, had the better of play through the first 8:20, but they find themselves down a goal. Shot from the point, taken in a glove save made by Steve Smith on the shot by Craig Connolly, with players in front of the net. Smith in a crowd plucking it out of the air.
All right, here's the shot as the puck comes back to the point. Now he lets a good slap shot go. Now look, it goes through a maze of traffic there. He doesn't quite get all of it. There's a St. Joe player screening him. He gets enough to block it, and then he has to pounce on the rebound so that no one else gets a second opportunity. Nice play by Smith.
Kevin Kamansky wins the faceoff. This is Ted McLaughlin. 1-on-3. Now it's 2-on-4 as he's joined by a teammate and another St. Joseph's player. Play along the boards, played behind the net. Craig Connolly and Kamansky are after it. Along the boards, poked out to the point. Gary Ryan is sent down to the ice, and here comes a one-on-one break. Craig Connolly takes a flip shot on goal, and Smith makes the save, and he'll hold on. You know, we mentioned that St. Joseph's is a bigger team and perhaps more physical, and we can see that they like to play that physical game. They bump a little bit after the play. They're throwing a few more checks than Seton Hall prep, and that's the kind of game they'll play.
Matty, in a game like this, and the officials know it and the players know it, you're going to get away with a little more. The game means a whole lot. You have two of the better teams in the state, and you have teams with developing a rivalry, and you're not going to call the little stuff, you're not going to call the cheap penalties, and consequently they're going to have a wider latitude on what they can do and what they can get away with.
Seton Hall down by a goal. This is Pracher with the puck. But it's an offside as Andy McLaughlin, the freshman, was ahead of the play. That perhaps an example of the freshman, though Seton Hall is 12 games into its season, not quite still familiar with all the moves that Prater will make. Prater pulled the puck back as he tried to deke out the defenseman, and McLaughlin wound up being caught ahead of the play.
Well, what also happened, Matty, is he got a little help from the St. Joe's player, giving him a little nudge right at the blue line, which is the little things that a good team gets away with. They know when to do a little push, when to do a little tug, and there was a perfect example of giving a little push just to nudge the freshman over the line.
Schelling plays it to Reisman. 5:34 left to play in the first period. Puck knocked down by Andy McLaughlin. He plays it into the St. Joe's end. Behind the net, picked up by Schelling. Plays it along the boards for Herter. Knocked back in by Greg McGillis. And now Schelling has it. We're going to have a penalty call against Seton Hall. And as soon as Frank DeMarco touches the puck, Seton Hall will find itself down a man. High sticking is the call against Greg McGillis, and McGillis will sit out for 2 minutes. 5:16 left to play in the first period.
Greg McGillis was pinned along the far side, and when the second St. Joe's player came in to take him out of the play, out of frustration, he gave him a little tap up around the shoulder and head area with his stick, and Eddie Holmes right on the play saw it and whistled it down for 2 minutes.
So let's see what St. Joe's does. Up 1-0 with the power play advantage. Here's Schelling. Schelling headmans the rush into center ice. Across the blue line, offside is his teammate, Larry Herter. 8 seconds ticked off the 2-minute penalty to Greg McGillis. Seton Hall has Prater, Gary Ryan, Frank DeMarco, and John Murphy out there killing the penalty. Prater sees an awful lot of ice time.
Oh, he sure does.
This is DeMarco with it. Knocked back in. Nice stick work by St. Joe's Andre Sork. Reisman sends it in, deflected in front off of the stick of John Murphy. Goes wide of the Seton Hall goal. And here's Seton Hall looking to come out. This is Prater. He's 1-on-3. Prater makes a nice move. Good stick work. A backhander and a save made by Petrullo. Puck is free, and Petrullo puts his glove out and scoops it underneath his pads.
A real nice play. That was Prater coming down the right side, and he was against Reisman, the one-on-one. Our two pregame stars. There we see him making the dipsy-doodle move to come out of the corner. Now watch, he comes to the backhand, tries to go short side. Goaltender gets his right glove on it. Now there's a second shot, and he's able to scramble and hold on.
So the Green Knights evade some danger and cling to a 1-0 lead. 1:21 left in the penalty to Greg McGillis. Prater on the bench getting a little bit of a breather.
Knowing the St. Joe's coach like I do, Frank Horan, if his team were to let up a short-handed goal, I'm sure there would be hell to pay in the locker room at the end of the period.
It truly is a family affair at St. Joseph's. Frank's wife is a power skating instructor, and she works with these players almost as much as Frank does. And she's here in attendance tonight cheering on the Green Knights. Here's a shot in the goal. Rich Schelling from short range, and perhaps Steve Smith was screened a little bit, but it's 2-0 nonetheless.
Rich Schelling used the defenseman as a screen. Here we'll see it here. Watch, he cuts over the blue line. Now watch how we use the Seton Hall defenseman as a screen right there and puts him right between the pads of Smith. A power play goal.
And it is 2-0 in favor of the Green Knights.
Well, Matty, we saw Rich Schelling earlier make a rush and a break up towards the net. He is obviously a rushing type defenseman, an offensive type defenseman. I think Seton Hall is going to have to keep their eye on that fellow when he's out there tonight.
Ironically, Pete, he may be an offensive-minded defenseman, but that's only his first goal of the year to go along with 10 assists. We mentioned earlier, very balanced scoring for the Green Knights this year.
Matty, you mentioned 10 assists. That means he's getting a lot of shots on goal, and probably what's happening is the forwards are putting in his rebounds or his tip-ins.
It's a 2-0 lead. St. Joseph's on top. That goal coming at the 10:43 mark. A power play goal as Greg McGillis was in for 2 minutes on high sticking. There's a shot on goal that's sticked into the corner. Adam Passamonte taking the shot that Smith handled. Out to the point. Shot taken by Craig Connolly. Knocked down in front. Here comes Kevin Kamansky. Kamansky with George Schneider. Kamansky takes the slapper, and it's gloved by Petrullo and Petrullo took a while to decide what he wanted to do. Finally flipped it to a teammate. Played off along the boards. John Pagomian sends it out for Passamonte. Passamonte has trouble controlling it, now regains possession inside the Seton Hall zone and makes a blind pass that goes past his teammate, and the Pony Pirates come out. Long slop shot taken, goes high, bounces off the boards and into the corner. Connolly sends it along the boards for Pagomian. Pagomian flips it up into center ice for Andre Sork. Sork can't control. Now he knocks it off of the stick of John Murphy. Sork with it, flips it out in front, and it just goes wide. Sork sends it on goal. Smith sticks it into the corner. Out to the point it goes to Reisman. Reisman sends it across for Schelling, and here comes Seton Hall on a break. Andy McLaughlin sends it down into the corner. Reisman winds it around the board. McLaughlin, the freshman, will have it. Looks to center it out in front for DeMarco, but it's intercepted. Here come the Green Knights. Two very fine teams out on the ice tonight. Two of the best in the state, both with long winning streaks. 6 games for Seton Hall and 8 games for St. Joseph's. 2-0 lead for St. Joseph's. Here's Schelling. He already has a goal. Makes a nice pass, or an attempt at a pass out in front, and John Murphy slid in front of the attempted pass and knocked it clear. Out to the point for Schelling. Slap shot, and Smith knocks it down and falls on the rebound.
Matty, Seton Hall was very lucky to survive that pressure. Here we see the shot from the point. Now Smith's got a clear view of that one. That's why he's able to make the save. But he was lucky to hang on to the rebound. You see the St. Joe's player perched right on the doorstep looking to put home the rebound.
And I'm sure John Warchol saw that there was nobody from Seton Hall in front to try and clear that St. Joseph's player out of the crease. And I'm sure he'll talk, and he is now talking to Greg McGillis, who is a defenseman, along with John Murphy. They are paired out on the ice tonight. He's telling him, hey, you can't vacate your position and let a man stand out in front, because when a rebound comes free, he's going to be there to poke it in.
Matty, they can't allow St. Joe's to put that kind of pressure on for that length of time. It'll cost them sooner or later.
Green Knights leading 2-0 here in the first period. 1:38 left to go in the opening stanza. Matt Lachlan along with Pete Caggiano. Rich Brandy in the corner. Played out to Reisman. His shot sticked away by a defender in front, Ted McLaughlin, for Seton Hall, knocking it into the corner. Puck loose along the boards. Played out to Reisman. Nice pass in front, and the puck goes wide off the deflection off of Smith. Another shot as Smith was a little out of position, and he wound up covering up.
What a smart play by Reisman at the point. He had a lot of time, and instead of cranking up for the slap shot as most players would, he noticed his teammate just to the corner of the net and tried to make a pass to him. He did deflect it, but he just missed on the short side. That's a smart heads-up play.
He's only a junior. Seton Hall averaging a little over 5 goals per game, giving up a little over 3.5. Andy McLaughlin leads Pracher a little too far, but Pracher with his speed catches up with it. In the corner, gets crunched into the boards by Craig Connolly. Pracher still has it. Plays it for DeMarco, and his shot goes wide. It was partially deflected as it comes into the corner. Pracher has it. He's double teamed, looking for a little help. Finally, DeMarco comes in to help his teammate. DeMarco has it behind the net with 44 seconds left to play in the first period. John Amico looking for a face-off. Puck free behind the net, and it's picked up by Connolly. 36 seconds remain in the first period. Here comes Craig Connolly. Connolly just sends it slowly up into center ice, and we have a whistle. And I'm not sure what that whistle's all about. Pete?
I'm not sure whether they have an offsides, but I think the Seton Hall player who was hurt and down, Frank DeMarco, behind the net, was very slow getting up. And at this level, at the high school level, they'll stop the play and allow the hurt player to get off the ice.
Maybe I'll pick that injury up as we take a look at the replay. There's DeMarco behind the net.
There's DeMarco standing up. He's going to get hit right here. And this is where he gets hurt.
He started to fall down. He got crunched along the boards by Craig Connolly.
But Matty, during that whole play, what everyone seemed to miss is the puck was behind the net, as they were really battling in front of the net for position. A lot of jockeying, a lot of stick work, a lot of checking going on in front of the net. if we can catch some of that, really a treat for the fans to see the battle and the intensity that goes on right in front of the net, away from the play sometimes.
Puck was frozen in the corner. We'll have a face-off with 18 seconds left, coming to the right of Steve Smith as we take a look at the players lining up for the face-off from our camera behind the goal to our left. Reisman will take the face-off along with Kevin Kamansky. And both players are sent off. So let's see who replaces them. Rich Brandy will come in for St. Joe's, and it'll be Ted McLaughlin for Seton Hall.
Matty, what they try to do is get the centers, even so that nobody's cheating.
Little flip in front. Here's Brandy, and the shot is deflected into the corner. I'm sorry, Pete, we'll get back to that point in a moment. With 5 seconds left, wind up in a slap shot by Connolly, and Smith comes up with the big glove save. I'm sorry, Pete, you were saying.
What I was saying, Matty, is when you don't want one center to have an advantage over the other center. Here we'll take a look at the shot from the point. Here's the slap shot from the point. Now watch the traffic in front. Smith, ooh, almost a deflection there. He was able to keep his eye on, and he held on with just 2 seconds to go in the period.
Brandy was in front looking for the deflection. Shot taken at the buzzer, and I don't know if it would have counted. I think the green light might have come on first, but it was very close. Nonetheless, Smith came up with the save, and so the point is moot. Nonetheless, we've played 15 minutes of hockey, and St. Joseph's, on goals by Larry Maherter and Rich Schelling, has taken a 2-0 lead. We'll take a break. We'll come back with second period action right after this.
Family entertainment you can trust. That's the whole idea behind the Disney Channel. And in '85, the Disney Channel is packed with features the whole family can enjoy. There's movies like Splash, Not Your Everyday Fishtail, The Cold and Daring Tale of Never Cry Wolf, Martin Mull striking it rich in Lots of Luck, and The Undergrad starring Art Carney as a young at heart preppy who decides to join his grandson at college. The Disney Channel also has specials like Epcot Magazine. Join a different celebrity host each time for a look at the Epcot Center in the magical world of Disney. The Disney Channel is where you'll see Still the Beaver, full of pranks, laughter, and good times with the original cast of Leave It to Beaver. And finally, the Disney Channel is the perfect place for youngsters. Children's lineup has Mickey, Donald, Goofy, and all the gang. It comes complete with cartoons, puppets, and everything the kids will love. Call this number and reserve the Disney Channel for your family today.
Crowd here at South Mountain Arena enjoying the action on a Friday evening. Seton Hall finds itself trailing 2-0 after one period of play. I'm Matt Loughlin, along with me Pete Caggiano, and in that first period, St. Joseph's outshot Seton Hall Prep by a 14-8 margin. Peter?
14-8 margin, and that's just about the way the period went. I'd say 2/3 of the period went in favor of St. Joe's and 1/3 in favor of Seton Hall. And Smith, although he let in 2 goals, played exceptional. He faced quite a few tough shots from right in the slot, and with screens and a lot of traffic in front of him, they're the toughest ones to stop.
Teams will switch sides, and St. Joe's will now go left to right, Seton Hall right to left.
Matty, before the first period ended, I was making a point as far as once the centers get in the face-off, what happens and what they do. Apparently what you try to do is keep it so that neither center has an advantage. Many times a center tries to cheat in order to get an advantage so that he can win the face-off. And what the official tries to do is make it even. If both guys are cheating and they're not cheating too much, he'll let them go. But if one fellow is far beyond the limit while the other fellow is right by the book, he has to throw the other fellow out of the face-off circle so that you get 2 fellows that are going by the rules and making it an even draw.
Action underway in the second period. This is Eric Reisman playing it up along the boards for Rich Brandy. John Murphy, the sophomore defender, sends it in for Seton Hall. Here's Preacher with the slap shot and a bullet that goes past Vinny Petrullo. Boy, he wound up and let go.
That's why he has 35 goals, Matty.
Here's a break for St. Joe's, and Andre Sork puts the backhander past Steve Smith. Sork stole the puck along the boards and came in all alone.
Andre Sork made a beautiful move. He came in from the right side, and instead of taking a quick shot, we'll take a look at it. There we see Sork. He's picking the puck up about 20 feet out. Now here's where he makes his deke. Fakes to the forehand, comes back to the backhand. Look at that. He had Smith way on the far side and tucked it into an open net. Beautiful goal. For
Sork, his 6th goal of the year. Sork stole it away from John Murphy. Both of those players sophomores. And it seems that oftentimes, Peter, when a team has a big scoring opportunity or they come close to scoring, and Preacher had a great shot from close range, the other team will come back and score. It's almost as if after a near miss, the team lets down a little bit. So slap shots that deflected high into the stands off the skates of Reisman, shot taken by Ted McLaughlin.
Matty, I'm not sure exactly why that happens, but it is definitely true. I'm sure it has to do something with the letdown after coming so close yourself and being maybe a little disappointed, a little frustrated. You don't hustle and get back on defense. And the other side, being so elated that they just eluded a possible disaster, they're happy to be moving forward now and being on the offense. So their intensity level is a little higher, and that's why sometimes they put one home while they just avoided a near catastrophe.
Floater from the point taken by Jeff Lynch, who is seeing his first ice time this evening. Lynch is a sophomore defenseman. No goals this year, 5 assists. This will be icing as it crosses the goal line. As we mentioned earlier, it is an automatic call in high school hockey. Pete, is it the same way in college hockey? Automatic also?
Yes, it is, Matty. It's done at both the high school and college level for 2 reasons. One, obviously for injury, to prevent injuries and to possibly help speed the game up. Players at this level, both the high school and college level, ice time is very expensive. It's at a premium, and studies show that icings, when they're not automatic, the game takes a little longer, and the outcome of the situation is the same. In other words, the faceoff comes back down the other end anyway. So by having it automatic, all you're doing is speeding up some of the time and allowing the game to be played in less clock time.
Right. Even in the National Hockey League, it is rare when an icing is about to be called that the team against whom it is going to be called winds up winning the race down the other end and negating the offside.
Exactly so, Matt.
I think we're going to have a penalty here, Pete.
Yes, we will.
And it'll be against St. Joseph's. And let's see who the call will be against. Adam Passamonte for elbowing. Will sit it out for 2 minutes, and now Seton Hall will have a power play advantage. They trail 3-1. 13:38 left to play in the second period.
Matty, that was not a very smart play by Adam. He had the Seton Hall player against the boards after he checked him and just gave him a little extra hit, a forearm right in the back of the head, and it cost him.
Wrist shot goes wide by Preacher, and now Vinny Petrullo covers up. The senior netminder has been tested a couple of times, but it hasn't been an awfully difficult night for Petrullo.
Not so far, but with the offensive potency of Seton Hall, I expect that to change. There we saw Preacher on the shot. Notice that time he did not use the booming slap shot. Instead, he took a wrist shot, which is a lot more accurate and just as deadly.
From the corner, the shot by Kevin Kamansky is sticked into the corner. Puck played back to Kamansky. He'll take a slapper that floats a little bit and is knocked away by Connolly, who plays it off the backhand off the boards. Greg McGillis tries to keep it in. Puck in the corner. Now it's intercepted by DeMarco, and his shot on the short side goes a little high and wide. And he had Petrullo fooled. He just missed the mark.
Matty, that was a real nice shot by DeMarco. Exactly so. He was cutting from his left to his right. The goaltender has a tendency to vacate the near post, and he tried to hit that short side. He just missed.
St. Joseph's caught on a change, but no damage as Brandy has it. Playing it ahead. Goes behind the net. Picked up there by McGillis in the corner. Plays it for Kamansky. 57 seconds left in the Seton Hall power play. Here's McGillis. Across the blue line, takes a flip shot on goal that Petrullo holds on and makes the save for. And we'll have a face-off to the right of Vinny Petrullo.
As Petrullo jumped on the loose puck in front, that was Dan coming right through the crease looking for the rebound. He's out there doing power plays, doing penalty killing shifts as well as his normal shift. When you score 35 goals, there has to be a reason. He logs a lot of ice time.
Waiting for the players to get set in their position before we'll have the face-off. And now both players are whistled off. Second time we've seen that happen this evening, and some fresh troops will come in to take the face-off. And the puck is cleared. 44 seconds left in the St. Joseph's penalty to Adam Passamonte, sitting it out for elbowing. Seton Hall down 3-1, would like to pick up a goal here while they're up a man. Narrow the gap just a little bit. Puck flipped in by McGillis as he's checked into the boards. Puck sent down the other way. Steve Smith will settle it behind the net for Kevin Kamansky, watched by Andre Sork. Sork had a goal here in the opening seconds of the second period, and we're going to see a penalty called against Greg McGillis. Interference will be the call, and it was right in front of the official, rather clear, and I think we're going to pick it up. You'll see what'll happen.
What McGillis does is almost like throw a pick right there. The St. Joe's player was trying to chase the Seton Hall player with the puck, and what McGillis did was just stand in front of him and level him. Almost a basketball type pick where you get in the fellow's way, when him not looking at you, looking at the fellow with the puck, and he leveled him, and he'll sit 2 minutes for that.
And he did it right in front of the official. So the teams will be at 4 skaters apiece for the next 18 seconds. Then Passamonte will come out of the penalty box for St. Joe's, and the Green Knights will have an advantage for 1:42. Rich Brandy has the puck along the boards, plays it out in front. Here's a shot, and a save made by Steve Smith. As Smith had to be alert as Sork just took a quick flick at the puck and sent it on goal.
Andre Sork seems to be the kind of guy who finds those loose pucks. Here we'll see it. Somehow the puck just jumps right on his stick right there, and it's a quick shot. Watch Smith with that quick left leg just get it out in time to make the save.
Off the face-off, Schelling plays it to Sork. In the slot, the shot goes wide by Brandy. Passamonte is out of the penalty box, and St. Joseph's has a man advantage. So Seton Hall now down a player, and they can just clear it if they want down the length of the ice. This will be an offside as the puck did skip across the blue line, and several Green Knights were caught inside the blue line, and so the face-off will come outside the blue line. I think I said blue line 3 times in about 10 seconds there, Pete.
That was a fine call by Al Natelli. Standing right on the line, the puck just eluded the outside edge and came back in. There we take a look at Frank Horan, the coach of St. Joe's. They're on an 8-game winning streak right now.
Puck skips over the boards. We'll have a face-off once again. You saw the graphic which indicated that St. Joe's won the Morristown tournament, the Northern Jersey Invitational, for the 2nd year in a row. Last year defeated Seton Hall Prep for the championship. This year in the final, they defeated the host club, the Colonials of Morristown.
Well, last year they won everything, Matty. Remember, they didn't lose a game all year. They only tied once.
Defeated Brick for the state championship, edging the Dragons by a 7-6 score. Brick, another fine club this year. Bob Oriema, year in and year out, produces top-notch players and always has a fine team, and this year no exception. We'll see them a little later on in the month of February when they take on Montclair from the Montclair Arena. Reisman plays it back to the point. Schelling tries to tee it up, and the puck comes into the corner. 44 seconds left in the St. Joseph's power play. Puck loose in front. Gary Ryan tries to clear it, can't clear it out. Connolly has it, skates in from the point, plays it along the boards. Ryan takes a St. Joe's player down to the ice. That's John Anderson. Puck along the boards, and we'll have a face-off.
Matty, Rich Schelling had the puck teed up right at the blue line, but fumbled it a little, couldn't quite get it lined up the way he wanted to, and cost his team a good opportunity as the Seton Hall player was able to dive and just knock it off his stick. St. Joe is doing a good job on this power play, keeping the puck in the Seton Hall zone. They haven't put one home yet. but with this type of pressure, it's only a matter of time.
That's Greg McGillis, the junior defenseman, who will be sitting out for another 29 seconds. He was whistled for interference, waiting his turn to come back on the ice. And the puck skips over the stick of John Amico, and here's a 2-on-1 break. Preacher with the backhand that goes wide. Puck skipped over John Amico's stick, and Seton Hall almost had a goal. They had a 2-on-1 break. Again, the speed of Preacher showing itself there. Jeff Lynch plays it across the ice to Jim Bonner.
Matty, Preacher had the puck on his backhand. If he had it on his forehand, I'm sure the score would be 3-1 right now. But on his backhand, it's a tougher shot, and it's harder to pick the corner that way.
The penalty to McGillis is over. The teams are at even strength. 5 skaters aside. 9:48 left to play in the second period. Andy McLaughlin plays it into the St. Joe's zone. Behind the net, John Amico has it. Plays it up the boards. Frank DeMarco tries to send it back in. Schelling and Reisman combine on the puck, and now it's sent into center ice. Here's Rich Brandy, one-on-one with Jim Bonner. Looks to go to the backhander, and Bonner bodied him off the puck, and the puck is now cleared up near the blue line. Here's Preacher. It's on a burst of speed, tries to get around Reisman and does. And across the blue line, takes a shot that's deflected high. And where is it? I think it's gone into the stands. My attention was it diverted a little bit as one of the officials was inadvertently taken out of the play. That might have been Dan Preacher who bumped into him.
I think so. After Dan followed through with his shot, he caught Al Natelli coming by. But the play was made by Craig Connolly, one of the co-captains for St. Joe's, as he stood right in front of Dan Preacher, did not allow him a clear access to the goaltender, and deflected that puck out of play. There we take a look at John Warchol as he's trying to encourage his troops, as they're down 3-0 with a little more than half of the game to go.
9:12 left in the second period. McLaughlin plays it across ice to Gary Ryan. His shot is sticked away by Petrullo. Petrullo didn't look very strong on that play, a little shaky on that shot. Here's McLaughlin behind the net with the puck. Puck is still loose, and it's picked up by Schelling. Rich Schelling, the sophomore defenseman, looking to come out of his own zone, and does. Winds it along the boards. John Pagomian sends it behind the net as he takes a check by Gary Ryan. Schelling with the shot that goes wide of the goal. Comes out to the point. Picked up by Reisman. Reisman checked by a much smaller Ted McLaughlin. McLaughlin has it, tries to play it up for Kamansky, and Kamansky is double teamed along the boards. The St. Joe's fans happy that no call was made. The Seton Hall Prep fans wanted a penalty of some sort to be made.
There we see the Seton Hall player still down. And I believe Al Natelli is going to call a penalty.
Kevin Kamansky is the player who is down on the ice, and I think we are going to see a penalty indeed. What we're definitely going to see is a break in the action. We're going to take a break as they attend to Kevin Kamansky. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
Dr. Mariella Pierpont is a March of Dimes grantee at the University of Minnesota Medical Center. She is studying a special strain of turkeys who have a genetic form of heart muscle disease. Dr. Pierpont is asking basic questions. When she gets the answers, she will translate them into treatment for babies born with the same kind of heart disease. Basic research comes first in the March of Dimes fight against birth defects.
Support the March of Dimes.
Penalty was called against John Anderson, and he's in the penalty box for 2 minutes. Seton Hall power play. Here's Kamansky, who's okay after being taken down. Hooking is the penalty called against Anderson. And we'll now have a face-off to the right of Vinny Petrullo. And there's John Anderson, senior right winger, sitting things out. 8:14 left to play in the second period. I'm Matt Lachlan, along with me, Pete Caggiano. We're at the South Mountain Arena in West Orange. Seton Hall Prep hosting St. Joseph's from Montvale. St. Joe's defending state champion. St. Joe's down a man, and here's a break. Passamonte comes in and takes a shot, and a goal as he dekes Steve Smith. And a shorthanded goal makes it 4-0.
A fatal mistake by Seton Hall. They allowed St. Joe's to put one home on a short-handed situation. 4-0. It's getting bigger.
At the 7:05 mark of the second period. So we see Passamonte.
Right there, Matty. He came in, the Seton Hall defenseman fell down. He came in on Smith. A similar move to one of Andre Sork's goals where he came to his backhand and then tucked it into an open net.
For Passamonte, his 9th goal of the year. And it's 4-0. And St. Joe's looks pretty strong. Interestingly enough, at times, Seton Hall seems to have the better of play. But it's 4-0 on the board.
Matty, what they're not doing is they're not finishing off their play. They're starting it well, they're carrying through, but they're not finishing off the play. The last little thing that's needed to score the goal or to prevent the other team from scoring, they're not getting it done. They're coming close but no cigar, and without that cigar, they're not going to get back into this game.
Seton Hall still has a power play. They will have one for another minute 15 as John Anderson sitting out a penalty for hooking for the Green Knights. Passamonte's goal, as we mentioned, is 9th of the year, a shorthanded goal. Here's a 2-on-2 situation. Schneider's backhand pass is intercepted and cleared into center ice. Here's Gary Ryan. Ryan is taken down right in front of the official, Ed Holmes, and we're going to have a penalty. Delayed penalty here. As soon as a Green Knight touches it, we'll have a penalty as Smith comes off the ice for another skater for Seton Hall. And now the penalty is called, and it's a 2-minute penalty for tripping, and it is called against Larry Maherter. And so Seton Hall will have a 2-minute advantage for the next 46 seconds. And then they'll have a 1-man advantage for a minute and 14. So an opportunity here for the Pony Pirates. If they can score within 46 seconds, they'll still have a power play advantage.
Exactly so, Matt. I think now it's imperative that Seton Hall would have put one home. St. Joe's is playing their game tonight. Seton Hall is not so far. Penalty right there, right in front of the official. We had no alternative but to call the trip. And now Seton Hall with a 2-man advantage. What they have to do is spread out, put a man at the 4 corners, plus one in front of the net, and work the puck around for the right shot, for the proper shot.
This is Preacher with it. He's out there along with Greg McGillis and Kevin Kamansky. Andy McLaughlin. Here's a shot and a goal! Shot from the blue line taken by Greg McGillis directly in front of Vinny Petrullo. And they scored that goal with 2 men in the box, but 35 seconds left on the penalty to Anderson, so they'll still have a power play.
Here we'll take a look at it, Matty. Watch how Seton Hall sets it up. That's Preacher putting it back to the point. Now we'll see Greg McGillis center himself right in the middle. He'll wait for some traffic in front.
Let's see if it's deflected.
Now he takes the shot. No, it's directly in and just picks the far side. Beautiful shot.
Let's go, Seton Hall!
For McGillis, his 3rd goal of the year. And it comes at the 9:07 mark. Seton Hall still with the man advantage. Puck skips over the stick of Andy McLaughlin, and Seton Hall has to regroup at center ice. Here's Kevin Kamansky. Kamansky at the blue line. Nice pass from McLaughlin. McLaughlin shot is kicked away by Petrullo. Puck is not cleared. Sent on toward goal by Kamansky. Here's Preacher with the backhander to Kamansky. A shot is deflected wide of the goal. Finally, it is cleared by Eric Reisman.
Matty, with a minute left in the penalty to St. Joe's, Seton Hall has to put the pressure on here. They have to put one more home.
Puck along the boards, 54 seconds left on the penalty to Larry Maherter. I was off by a minute in my calculations. That goal was scored at 8:05, they say. I said it was, I thought it was 9:07. A couple of ticks of the clock had gone by the time I looked at the clock, but there's no excuse for being off by a minute. Give me a break on 2 seconds, but a minute and 2 is a bit much to be excused from. So the goal at 8:05 coming exactly a minute after Passamonte had scored a shorthanded goal to give Seton Hall or St. Joe's a 4-0 advantage. Here's Sork Puck free in front, as Seton Hall is still working on a power play with 27 seconds left, but you wouldn't know it by the way the puck has been pinned in the Pony Pirate end of the ice in the last 15-20 seconds.
Matty, there's Andre Sork again. I mentioned earlier that the puck seems to come to his stick. He seems to be the right man in the right place all the time. That comes from thinking and from knowledge of the game to be where the puck is. And so far, he's come closer. He has one goal and has come close at least 2 or 3 other times.
Kamansky just clears it from in front of his net all the way down the ice, and it's icing. And with 15 seconds left in the Seton Hall power play, the puck will be brought down the other end of the ice. And a face-off will come to the left of Steve Smith. Seton Hall trailing 4-1, 5:22 left to play in the second period. Kevin Kamansky takes a seat on the bench, joined there by Greg McGillis. Preacher will take the face-off along with Andre Sork. Sork a sophomore, Preacher a senior. Puck in the corner. Jeff Lynch and Sork converge on the puck, and now coming over Preacher and another Green Knight will have a face-off. 5:12 left in the second period, between the second and third periods. Now between period guest will be Pete Caggiano. Here's Preacher trying to go on his backhand side, pulls up, now skates in front, nice move, loses the puck handle, and a shot is taken by DeMarco, and in the pile of bodies in front, we have a whistle, and we're going to have a face-off. Preacher had the burst of speed in front, but just lost the puck off his stick, and look at the moves that Dan Preacher can put on.
Here we'll see him right there as he's forced off his backhand. Now he's to his forehand. Watch the one move there, comes to his backhand. He threw the pass out. There's the shot. Nice save. I thought that hit a body in front, but that was stopped by Vinny Petrullo right at the far post. And then with the big pile up in front, they blew the whistle to stop play.
Steve, you're being generous. I'm not so sure if Preacher meant to pass that puck out. Maybe he did. I thought he just lost the handle and maybe benefited from a player being there, but you call it a pass, I'll go along with you.
Matty, as being a former forward, I always give the player the benefit of the doubt.
And I'm sure Mr. Preacher will accept your generosity. We have a face-off as the puck skips over the boards. We'll take a look at the end of that play, and he brings it to his backhand. Now, I think he wanted to go forward. I think he was looking to bring it back to his forehand, and he just benefited from Frank DeMarco being the right player at the right spot at the right time.
Matty, you're absolutely right.
I've got to be once in a while.
I just hope they send those letters about you being a minute off on the time. All the people keeping time at home send the letters to you and not to me.
Well, you know, since we have 2 parochial schools playing here, I'm sure I won't get too many because I'm a graduate of a parochial high school myself. Here's a play in front for McLaughlin. His shot is smothered by Petrullo. It's underneath him. We get a whistle as the puck came free. And the whistle is because we're going to get a penalty.
Matty, I think we're going to get a hooking penalty. The Seton Hall player had broke right down the middle on a beautiful pass. Here we'll take a look at it. Now here's the play as it comes up
this is Kamansky,
the outside.
And he finds Ted McLaughlin perfectly.
Now here's McLaughlin going right towards the goaltender. There's the hook right there. McLaughlin never got the good shot off. Now you see it almost trickles by him. What a play to tuck it back. That was by the goaltender, and if not for the play by the defenseman to pick it out and throw it back underneath his goaltender, Seton Hall would have scored one right there.
That was Schelling who was whistled for the penalty, but Schelling who also made the nice play by just clearing it away from an unguarded net. 4:20 left to play in the second period. 1:54 left in the penalty to Rich Schelling.
Matty, we mentioned earlier that Schilling was an offensive type defenseman. They were showing him do 2 things. He got back to back checking to stop the play. He got called for the hooking on it. It cost him a little bit, but then he made the excellent play to pull the puck out and put it underneath Vinny Petrullo so that Seton Hall could not pounce on the rebound.
A couple of nice individual skills shown by Craig Connolly. But we have an offside as Rich Brandy was ahead of the play. So the faceoff will come outside the blue line. 1:39 left in the penalty to Schelling.
Matty, Craig Connolly did what he wanted to do. He wasted some time. Although he caused the face-off, and he didn't go anywhere with the puck. He ate up about 10 to 15 seconds just playing with it right there at center ice.
Reisman watched by Andy McLaughlin. Reisman still with it. Sends it cross ice. And it finally comes clear to Sork. Sork hip check to the ice by Ted McLaughlin. St. Joe's still with it. Brandy checked by DeMarco. Puck along the boards. 1:17 left in the Schelling penalty. 3:41 remains in the second period. Here's Preacher with a shot and a nice glove save made by Petrullo, and then he let the rebound fall free, but he covered up quickly. And we'll have a face-off coming to the right of Vinny Petrullo. He looked shaky on an earlier save, but he's come up big a couple of times.
He's come up big, and what he's doing, he's playing the angles well, Matty. He's coming out to break down the angle to cut off the corner so the shooter has no alternative but to fire right into him. And that time Dan Pratcher opted for the wrist shot, the quicker release shot, rather than the harder slap shot. And a nice save by Petrullo.
And we're going to have a tripping penalty called. And the penalty will be assessed against Kevin Kavansky. Again, another obvious call. Most of the penalties tonight have been rather easy. Pete, you're an official yourself. Do you ever go into the locker room and say to your fellow official, they're making it easy for us tonight, they're so obvious?
You think they're making it easy only because they're calling the very obvious ones. The tough part is the borderline calls, whether to call them or not to call them. Tonight's officials are doing an excellent job. They're letting a lot of the little stuff go, the stuff that does not take away from the game and does not directly involve the game. They're letting that go. They're letting the boys play the game. They want to play a physical game tonight, and they're calling the penalties that will do one of two things. One, either cause an injury, or two, prevent a goal. They're the only penalties they're calling tonight, and that's the way to do it in a game of this magnitude.
3:11 left in the period, 42 seconds left in the Schelling penalty, and 1:44 left in the Kamansky penalty. Teams are at 4 skaters aside. St. Joe's will have a power play advantage of 1:02 when the penalty to Schelling expires. Here comes Craig Connolly, long loping strides for Connolly. Connolly makes a nice move around the defender, goes behind the net, loses control, will track it down on the far side. Connolly passes it across the blue line to no one. Preacher winds up, takes a slap shot, and Petrullo's not sure where it is. I think it's caught somewhere. No, it skipped over the boards. Boy, I couldn't see it myself. It was such a bullet taken by Preacher.
There was Preacher's powerful slap shot. Here we'll see him come down the ice from right about the blue line, 60 feet away. Watch the shot as it rises. Petrullo gets his right waffle line. Now look how far out from the net he is to break down the angle. And he gets just enough to deflect it over the glass and out of the rink.
And right for our cameraman, who's perched high above the goal. There he is. It's combat duty up there.
That is a little dangerous.
He's got his head down thanking God that the puck went wide.
He's directly above the goaltender, and when you have shooters with the power of a Dan Preacher, it is dangerous up there.
Rich Angelo on the camera behind the goal. The penalty, by the way, has expired against Rich Schelling, and so St. Joe's has a man advantage now for 40 seconds. And here's a goal. Puck came out in front to John Pagomian, and he flipped it past Steve Smith, a power play goal. And it's a 5-1 St. Joseph's advantage.
That was a beautiful goal by Pagomian. The play was made from behind
wide
the
open,
net.
though. No one's on him. No one's checking him.
Oh, look at that nice pass right
Beautiful
there.
Backhand.
Exactly. Pagomian, quick shot, didn't bother to tee it up, let it go on the fly. Smith caught a little bit by surprise, was unable to extend that left pad and get any part of the puck as it just squiggled inside the left post. And now we have a 5-1 game with just 2 minutes to go here in the second period.
St. Joe's led 2-0 after 1. They lead by 3 now. St. Joseph's looking to make it 9 straight and improve their record to 9-1, or excuse me, 10-1 on the year. Now to the point, Schelling takes a shot that is knocked into the corner. On the rebound, a shot taken, and Smith finally falls on it. Pagomian came out of the corner to take a shot on goal off the rebound that Smith saved. Can't let too many rebounds come free.
Not at all. Smith, for the most part, has done a pretty good job on that. You have to get a lot of help from your defenseman to either clear the puck or clear the forwards from the other team away. Matty, on that last goal by Pagomian, the play was made by Larry Maherter. He's the fellow who was in the corner and made that beautiful pass out. Without his excellent marksmanship on the pass, the goal never would have happened. So although everyone congratulates the goal scorer, John Pagomian, the play was made by Larry Maherter in the corner.
Puck pops into the air. Prater and Schelling collide. 2-on-1 break for Seton Hall. And Petrullo comes up with the save on Andy McLaughlin. McLaughlin has it again on the backhander. Petrullo makes the save. Puck is free. Prater's shot goes high. Seton Hall with some opportunities, and you mentioned it earlier, Pete. They haven't been able to finish things off. Here's a replay.
Now there's the pass. It's a little high. Yeah, knock it down with his hand. There's the shot. Petrullo sliding out, anticipating, made the beautiful save. Now he comes back in front for the backhand. Another save by Petrullo. And we'll see the puck swiggle free. Now here's Prater. He puts it right over the net. He had an open net to shoot at, and he put it right over the top.
Andy McLaughlin had 2 shots on goal. Prater 1 during that span. But Seton Hall still finds itself down 5-1. 57 seconds left in the second period.
Matty, Seton Hall is getting their chances. As I mentioned before, they're not finishing off the play. That's what I mean. They're making the right play to get the puck there. They're taking the shot, but they're not finishing it off. They're not putting it home.
Elbows a little high in the corner. Perhaps Seton Hall a little frustrated by the way the game has gone. Smith covers up on the shot taken by John Anderson. One thing that has impressed me about St. Joe's, too, is that you see some teams on every level make that extra pass, but St. Joe's is certainly not guilty of it tonight. They're firing the shots on Steve Smith. They had a 14-to-8 shot advantage at the end of the first period. The shots on goal are not posted here, so I'll be curious to see what they are at the end of the second period. They just fire away. Players tumble into the corner as the puck goes behind the net with 31 seconds left in the second period. Puck played out in front, loose in front of the net, finally knocked away, but it won't be cleared as Connolly will keep it in for St. Joe's. Connolly in deep. Tips it down in front. It would have been a high stick, I believe, and in fact, there it goes. We get the high stick call as a St. Joe's player touches it, so the goal would not have counted. Let's see if we can take a look at it.
There's Connolly. Watch, on the give and go, he just passed in the corner. Now he's breaking to the net. The Seton Hall defenseman gets a piece of it, and there's Connolly touching the puck above the height of 4 feet. Now what happens if another St. Joe's player touches it, which was the case in this situation, the whistle blows and the faceoff comes all the way down. But a fine play by the Seton Hall defenseman who was laying on the ice to extend his stick and just get a piece of that pass as St. Joe's was working a give and go to the man in the corner and then back to Connolly.
Almost reminiscent of the Rangers playoff against the Islanders last year.
With Don Maloney.
Late in the third period, Don Maloney, was it a high stick or not? Well, they said no. It was awfully close. It wound up being the tying goal, but Rangers wound up losing in overtime anyway. Here's a shot taken by Kaminsky, and Petrullo covers up.
Matty Andre Sork moving out, a Seton Hall forward who was sitting right on the porch. Here, we'll take a look at it. Now, there's the shot from the point. Petrullo has it all the way, but for some reason juggles it. Now, watch right there. Seton Hall player coming into it, actually chipped over Petrullo right there as he was going for the rebound. But Andre Sork, showing that he's a two-way player, was right there to help his goaltender in case he needed it.
3 seconds left in the second period. Off the face-off, a deflection that might have been called a high stick anyway. The puck deflected in front of the goal, and I believe a Seton Hall player with a high stick knocked it toward the goal. Nonetheless, time expires at the end of the second period, a period which saw St. Joe's expand its 2-goal advantage to 3 goals. They were up 2-0 after 1. They're up 5-1 after 2. Stay with us. Pete and I will be back to talk about the game to date right after this. Well, Pete, I've got to bone up on my math a little bit. I said that St. Joe's had a 3-goal advantage. They increased their 2-goal margin to 3, but indeed they've increased it to 4, up 5-1. and they have looked rather impressive, although ironically, Seton Hall, if you look at shots on goal, had a better second period than St. Joe's.
Matty, I think right now the total is St. Joe's has 24 shots on goal, Seton Hall 22, which is not an indication of what we've seen tonight. St. Joe's is finishing their playoff. When they have the 2-on-1s or the 3-on-2s, they're putting the puck home. They have a shorthanded goal tonight. Seton Hall on the other end is putting the shots just wide, or they're putting it right into the goaltender, negating any possible opportunity that they have.
The Pony Pirates outshot the Green Knights by a 17-10 margin in that second period. And Pete, you mentioned it, St. Joe's finishing off its attack much better than Seton Hall. Seton Hall had a couple of 2-on-1s in that second period. They had a couple of opportunities where they had players 10, 15 feet in front of the goal with the puck, but just not able to find the net. Now we have 15 more minutes of play. Anything can happen. But in that Seton Hall locker room, they've got to be talking to themselves, questioning, because when you start losing that touch a little bit, you start to think it's not going to come back tonight.
Well, I don't think they're actually losing it. They don't have it in the first 2 periods tonight. John Warchol, the coach, probably one of the best in the state. You're probably seeing not only two of the top 3 teams in the state, but 2 of the top 3 coaches, being Frank Horan and Bob Oriama from Brick, the other 2. He'll be speaking with his fellows tonight to just take it easy. Don't be upset that you're down 5-1, or I should say, don't be overwhelmed with the fact that you're down 5-1. You can only come back 1 goal at a time. Their main goal right now is to not let St. Joe score anymore. That would be disastrous, and just go about putting 1 at a time home for themselves.
And particularly in the early going of this upcoming third period, they'll have to be careful. They gave up a goal, I think, at the 26-second mark in that second period. Andre Sork scoring to make it 3-0 for St. Joe's. And that really puts you in a big hole, not only on the scoreboard, but psychologically. You come out ready to play the new period. Okay, let's forget about what happened in the previous period. And boom, now you're down another goal. And as you mentioned, they've got to be careful. Can't let up really maybe any goals, but certainly not a quick one.
You said the magic word. You have to come out ready to play. Seton Hall did not come out ready to play. They were sleeping for those first 26 seconds, and it cost them.
All right, our score at the end of 2 periods, St. Joe's leading Seton Hall Prep by a score of 5-1. We're going to take a break, and we'll come back with third period action right after this, so stay with us. Mountain Arena, Matt Lachlan along with Peter Caggiano. 5-1 is our score, and St. Joe's on top by 4 goals. Don't forget, we'll have wrestling coming your way from the college ranks, the Catholic National Championship from Seton Hall University, and it'll come your way Monday at 9 o'clock and Tuesday at 9:30 over TV3. The actual championships will take place on Sunday evening at 6 o'clock, and we'll bring the finals to you on a tape-delayed basis Monday at 9 and Tuesday at 9:30. And we hope that you can both go out to Seton Hall and watch the action and then enjoy it on the replay on TV3. Some real fine wrestlers from across the country. Teams like Notre Dame and Boston College will be represented, along with Seton Hall. John Carroll from Cleveland will be there. They're a very highly ranked Division III team. Marquette will be sending a team. King's College from Pennsylvania will be there, along with several other teams. Mark Cabrera from Seton Hall University was last year's most valuable wrestler of the tournament, and he is back for Seton Hall. And Al Reynosa, the head coach, who also does commentary for us on our high school wrestling matches, was talking about his team's chances and the other day, and he felt that they were pretty strong. He said he has a much better team than last year's club, and last year I believe the Hall finished second in the tournament, so perhaps Seton Hall, while they host the tournament, can come away with the championship.
Matty, there's a player tonight, Max Middendorf, for St. Joe's, who is not here this evening. Well, I should say he's not here this year. Max opted to pass up on his senior season in high school to play junior A hockey up in Canada. Last year he had 38 goals and 35 assists for St. Joe's. And hockey in this area is still not at the level where the NHL scouts will look down here for players. And he knew the only opportunity he would get to make the big time would be go up to Canada, and that's what he opted to do.
Play underway in the third period, and Seton Hall down by 4. And Let's see if Seton Hall comes out with a burst of speed and energy to try and get back in the game. Here's a deflection and a goal in front by Andy McLaughlin. Well, they came out fired up, attacked right off the face-off, and 22 seconds into the third period, they've narrowed the gap to 3.
That's right, Matty. Arithmetic is right. It's down to 3.
Thank you.
And that was a very big goal by Seton Hall. The puck was shot. The shot was taken from the point. A little traffic in front, and a deflection just past the goaltender. Vinny Petrulo had no opportunity at all on that one. He was beat above his glove side, and now the score is 5-2.
Pony Pirates down by 3, 22 seconds in to the third period. They win the face-off and they go chasing after the puck. Rich Brandy sends it ahead looking for Anderson. It's intercepted by Gary Ryan and sent in, but we have an offside on Seton Hall.
Matty, Andy McLaughlin made a real fine play on that. While the puck was in the corner and then went out to the point, he kind of like hesitated and then slowly creeped in front of the net. In other words, caught the defenseman by surprise, did not make a big thing of it, and they never noticed him, and that's why he was able to get a piece of that puck and deflect it into the corner. And here we're going to have another penalty.
We're going to have a penalty called against St. Joseph's as Ted McLaughlin, no relation to Andy McLaughlin, was sent to the ice. And sitting out for 2 minutes will be Rich Brandy, a sophomore. And Seton Hall will have the man advantage on the power play.
Matty, Seton Hall couldn't have done any better if they wrote the script. Here they score a goal first 30 seconds into the period, and now they have a power play.
Puck knocked down by McGillis. Here's a shot, and it just goes off the glove of Petrulo as DeMarco found himself open in front.
That was a big save by Petrulo as DeMarco let the quick wrist shot go. He tried to pick the upper corner, and Petrulo got a piece of the left glove on it, just enough to deflect it over the net.
The Zamboni machine, by the way, came out between periods, and there's a fresh ice surface out there, and there's a pretty obvious hooking penalty as Greg McGillis will sit it out for 2 minutes for hooking Craig Connolly.
Here we'll take a look at it. Oh, yep, here we go, okay. Now here, watch number 4 McGillis get his stick right up under the arm and tug him right down right there. That was an easy one to call, Matty. You asked easier before if some calls were easy and some were tough. That was an easy one.
13:46 left in the third period. Teams will skate at 4 aside. Here's Pracher looking coming off his backhander and sends it right into the chest of Petrulo. And we will have a face-off. 13:32 left in the third period. 1:14 left in the penalty to Rich Brandy. 1:46 in the penalty to Greg McGillis.
Matty, did you notice the crowd that Dan Pracher attracted? He went in 1-on-4 and still got off a good shot. And Petrulo had to come up with a big save.
St. Joe's will have a man advantage for 32 seconds when the penalty to Brandy expires. Here's Pracher, hooked but no call. And the puck is picked up by Passamonte. Adam Passamonte across the blue line. 1-on-3, lets a shot go. That's deflected into the corner by Kamansky. Passamonte has it behind the net. Centers it for Anderson, who loses control. And here comes Andy McLaughlin. McLaughlin loses control as he comes across the blue line. And we have an offside called.
Well, Matty, Seton Hall caught St. Joe's napping just like St. Joe's caught Seton Hall in the first 30 seconds of the period. That put them back into the game at 5-2, but this next goal is critical. If St. Joe's scores, it's going to be almost impossible. If Seton Hall puts one in to narrow the gap to 2, they're right back in it.
Team still at 4 aside. 44 seconds left in the Brandy penalty. Now 1:13 left in the McGillis penalty. Here's a bullet that goes off the post. Rich Schelling hit the post with the shot. Schelling has it again, goes behind the net, looks to play it for Reisman, and it goes past the defenseman's outstretched stick. And St. Joe's has to bring it back into their own end. Adam Passamonte tries to get around Gary Ryan and does. Passamonte comes in, takes a shot, and a goal! Steve Smith, I thought, had the post and the near side sealed off, but Passamonte sent it off his pads and into the net. And it's an even strength goal, as neither of the two penalized players came out of the penalty box. It's 6-2.
Exactly so, Matty. And Adam Passamonte, I believe, beat Smith between the legs. Smith didn't have him closed real tight, and it was not a very dangerous shot as he took it from a bad angle, but Smith didn't have the legs closed together. It went in between and just trickled over the line. And the junior assistant captain, Adam Passamonte, has put his team up by 4.
And it's 6-2, that goal coming at the 2:31 mark. And Passamonte had gotten around Ryan, but he also had Jim Bonner, who was back skating and really didn't see him. Bonner was concentrating on keeping the area in front of the net cleared and didn't see Passamonte sneak behind him. And Passamonte had an easy walk-in and then put the shot past Smith. We're going to have a delayed penalty called here against Seton Hall. Slashing will be the call. And sitting out for 2 minutes will be Kevin Kamansky. The penalty has expired to Brandy. 9 seconds remain in the penalty to McGillis.
Here we'll see the shot from the point. This was the hard shot before. Right there, he gets a tip of his stick and a tip of his left skate, just enough to deflect it. What happened was Smith was leaning to his right. The shot was back to the opposite side. It's real tough to extend either your legs or your arms one way when your body's moving the other. He did it just enough that time to make a save.
Penalty is over to McGillis. He's back on the ice. 1:47 left in the penalty to Kamansky, as St. Joe's has a power play and the 6-2 advantage. Puck cleared out by McLaughlin. George Schneider sent into the boards on the far side. Ted McLaughlin with it, has it knocked off his stick by Rich Brandy. Brandy playing it ahead for Andre Sork. It's sent back in by Jeff Lynch, but now coming out with it is Larry Maherter. Maherter loses control at center ice. And here's Craig Connolly. Craig Connolly into the neutral zone, puts on a burst of speed, gets behind the blue line and takes a shot that is deflected. Connolly with it again at the point, sends it across ice for John Amico. Amico gets around Ted McLaughlin. Puck in the corner, Sork has it. Sork plays it out in front, off the scramble. Puck is still loose behind the net. McLaughlin would like to get a face-off. Puck comes free. Out to the point it goes for Connolly. Winds up and takes the shot that a save is made on by Smith. St. Joe's applying the pressure. They have the man advantage, and finally it is cleared.
Matty, 2 nice plays there. Connolly using his big frame and power to get off a nice slap shot, but Smith that time came out to break down the angle.
Amico took a shot from center ice that hit the post dead on. He had beaten Steve Smith. Smith lost his concentration on that one, and it got past him. But the goaltender's friend, the Pipes, came through and made the save. Schelling comes in from the point. Puck is still loose. Schelling with it on the backhand, and Smith plucks it out of the air.
Boy, that Schelling is a rushing defenseman. You saw, we'll see it here from the point as Schelling picks his opportunities. Here the puck will come free. Now watch how he gets a second opportunity with the backhand. Watch the quick left glove of Smith right there, and he holds on.
4 seconds left in the St. Joseph's power play. 4 seconds remaining in the penalty to Kamansky. Here's Schelling. Comes in, takes a shot. The save is made by Smith. Schelling has it again as Kamansky comes out of the penalty box, and the teams are at even strength. Steve Smith falls on the puck. We'll have a face-off to the left of the junior goaltender. St. Joe's leading 6-2, less than 10 minutes to play in the contest.
Matty, Rich Snelling was getting that shot off from the point. Rich Brandy was in front of the net, screening Smith, getting a little bit of him. As Smith came out to break down the angle, he's no longer, I should say, protected by being in the crease. You can't intentionally bump him, but if you're there ahead of time, he can't hit you either. And what Brandy did was just getting away and screening. It was a tough save by Smith on that last play.
We're seeing some fresh troops on the ice for Seton Hall. I don't know whether John Warchol is trying to save his team's strength for the last rush, or perhaps he's conceding at 6-2 as Steve Smith makes one save and then a goal off the rebound. Smith made a save from the prone position, but while he was still lying on his back, the puck was lifted over him and in by Adam Passamonte. And for Passamonte, his third goal of the game, second here.
Matty, that first save by Smith was beautiful. Here we'll see the whole play develop. Watch the shot from about 20 feet away. There's the first save by Smith. Now watch, here comes the second one. He's down. Watch, right there with the pad. Another one right there. That's the one I thought was phenomenal as he just sprung his left arm up. Now we'll see the rebound go home, and Passamonte scores his third goal of the game tonight.
So the hat trick for Adam Passamonte at 5:41.
Matty, I think what they called was there was a St. Joe's player in the area of the crease while they were in possession of the puck. So in both high school and college, the officials will stop the play and bring the faceoff outside. Here we'll take a look at it to show you exactly what I mean. There's the save. Now right there, the player's in the crease and makes no attempt, or gets out very slowly, I should say. And the officials right on the call, stop playing, bring the faceoff outside.
7-2 our score, 8:50 left to play in the third period. And St. Joe's looking now to make it 9 in a row, and they're comfortably on top. And if they hold on to this lead, they'll move to 10-1 on the year.
Matty, St. Joe's escaped one there as Frazier hit the post on that backhand. Another post.
Another post, as that was McGillis taking a shot from the point. Well, they say it's the goaltender's best friend. Helps out on a number of occasions.
And we've definitely seen it a couple of times this evening.
Twice in the last 15 seconds. Here comes Preacher, 35 goal scorer on the year. And Preacher's been shut out tonight. Came into the game averaging 3 goals a game, a little less than 3 goals a game. And he's been kept off the scoreboard. Still a lot of time left. His club down, though, 7-2. We have a delayed penalty that's going to be called. And now we get the whistle.
Matty, the penalty is going to be against St. Joe's, but the reason why Dan is having a rough time tonight is the fact that St. Joe's is shadowing him. Whenever Seton Hall picks up the puck, if Preacher's on the ice, the closest St. Joe's player is immediately gluing himself to Dan so he cannot get free. And even with that, he's able to show some offensive explosion tonight, but it gets tough.
John Amico whistled for the penalty. Pete, we talked about the goalposts being the netminder's friend. Here's the big slap shot by McGillis, and it goes past Petrullo, who hits it solidly and bounces out.
I tell you, Petrullo never moved on that. I don't know if it was deflected somewhere on the way in.
It looked like maybe in mid-flight that it had been deflected down to the ice. Well, Seton Hall operating with the man advantage. Here's Ted McLaughlin. Still with it, takes a slap shot. And a glove save made by Petrullo. Sticks it into the corner, picked up by George Schneider. Schneider in the corner with the backhander behind the net for Ted McLaughlin. Back for Schneider. Minute 25 left in the power play. Here's Kamansky. Goes off the glove of Petrullo and deflects into the corner. Eric Reisman has it for St. Joe's, and he clears it the length of the ice.
Matty, like anything else in sport, it's a confidence level. If you can get your confidence level up, you play far better than you're probably able to or you think you can play. And that's what's happening right now with St. Joe's. They have their confidence up, and they're playing very good hockey.
We have a delayed offside that is whistled off as St. Joe's clears the puck down the end of the ice. 6:40 left to play in the third period. Here comes Dan Pracher. Pracher 1-on-2. Pracher takes a wrist shot that the netminder Vinny Petrullo covers up on.
There's a little action behind it net as Pracher got hit even after he let the shot go. St. Joe's is really keying on him tonight and not allowing him to do his stuff. And you have to remember, Pracher spends about 30 of the 45 minutes on the ice, so he's got to be tired come this part of the game.
Penalty has been called, Pete. Eric Reisman is in the penalty box, and he's sitting out 2 minutes. And so is Dan Pracher. So you mentioned the little extracurricular activity, and so both players sent off for 2 minutes. We'll get the announcement of the penalties in a moment. So it's pretty open ice out there. 4 skaters for Seton Hall, 3 for St. Joseph's. We have 28 seconds left in the penalty to John Amico for St. Joe's, and here comes the call. Roughing is the call as Steve Smith came up big on a backhanded shot. Slap shot bangs off the glass. Kamansky with the backhander for DeMarco, and it is cleared by Schelling. Penalty has expired to Amico. The teams are at 4 aside for the next minute 12 as Pracher and Reisman sit out the roughing penalties. There's a shot of a deflection, and then a stick save made into the corner by Petrullo off the shot by McAllis, and now here's McLaughlin with the shot. We're going to have a delayed penalty called here against Seton Hall. Here's John Anderson as Petrullo comes off the ice for an extra skater. Now the puck's touched behind the net by McGillis, and we'll have the Seton Hall penalty call.
Matty, you're going to see a few more penalties coming up now. I think on this one, Al has called a slash. But what is happening are 2 things. One, Seton Hall is becoming frustrated. They're down by 5 goals with 5 minutes to go in the game. And with a 5-goal difference, with 5 minutes to go in the game, the officials will now tighten up. Or things that they might have let go in the first and second period when the game was still close and the game was still on the line, they would probably let a few of the extra little things go. Now you're going to see them tighten up a little bit. You're going to see them call what is known as control penalties. They're going to call a lot of 2 penalties, double minors, 1 on each side, in an effort to control the game and keep it that way, because in a situation like this, what happens is one team may get out of hand.
We have the penalty called, as you mentioned, for slashing against Frank DeMarco. We also have a new goaltender in the game for Seton Hall, Mike Sidlusky, a junior. Now between the pipes, replacing Steve Smith. Seton Hall has called a timeout also. So a little bit of delay here as Sidlusky goes through the warm-ups. Reminder that college wrestling comes your way over TV3, the Catholic National Championships from Walsh Auditorium on the campus of Seton Hall University. Championships take place 6 o'clock Sunday evening at Walsh, and we'll be there. And the action comes your way over TV3, 9 o'clock Monday and 9:30 on Tuesday. We also have some high school basketball for you next week. Bergen County Scholastic League matchup between Lyndhurst and Secaucus. Wednesday at 8:30 and Thursday at 9 o'clock. The action comes your way on the TV3 Action Arena. And don't forget, we have a Watchung Conference matchup as we wrap up the month of January. And this first month has gone by quickly. Linden against Cranford. Thursday evening at 7:30. All the action comes your way at TV3.
Matty, this is not a slap in the face to Steve Smith. He played an excellent game this evening. I'd say by now he must have faced somewhere around 35 shots, and he has let 7 escape him, but he's had a lot of pressure on him tonight.
There he is, sitting on the bench with his mask and helmet off. I'm sure Seton Hall is very disappointed. They knew this was a big game, and I think they're a little disappointed in their showing. Big slap shot taken by Craig Connolly. goes wide. Connolly will have it again, skates in, takes a shot that trickles past the netminder and in. Mike Sidluski got a piece of it, but it trickled past him and in the net.
Well, Matty, he had 2 shots from the point. The first time, Sidluski got a piece of it and deflected it over. The second time, Craig Connolly just blew it right by him. Nice pass from the far side out to the point. Here's Connolly. Look how much time and look how much room he has. Comes in. Now he's about 30 feet away. Lets the shot go. Sidluski gets a little piece of it and actually deflected it into the net. I think if he let it go, it probably would have went wide on the far side.
10:02 the time of the score. And it is 8-2 in favor of St. Joseph's. And I would say it's safe to assume that St. Joseph's has all but won this contest, and they'll move to 10-1 on the year. Seton Hall will have a 6-game losing streak snapped, and they'll go to 9-4 on the year. But, you know, between the periods, while we were off the air, we were discussing a little bit the extreme cost of fielding a hockey team. And frankly, with the exception of certain costs, such as transportation, uniforms, but not a lot of equipment, mostly uniforms and paying for officials, most of the cost is not borne by the school, but by the players themselves.
Exactly so, Matty. In some of the schools, some of the public schools, the teams pick up more of the equipment cost. But in the parochial schools, especially the 2 teams we see this evening, I'd venture to say just about every bit of equipment that they're wearing is their personal equipment. And to outfit a player at this level to play competitive hockey in a neighborhood of somewhere around $500 a person. Added on top of that, you're going to go through about 24 sticks a year, which is another $250 a year. So you're talking somewhere around $750.
That's a great expense.
And the biggest expense, which we haven't mentioned, is the ice time.
Ice time.
Going for about
I was wondering when you were going to get to that.
Somewhere in the neighborhood of around $100 an hour for ice time.
Now, some schools benefit. For instance, Montclair benefits from having a municipal arena that it can utilize, and they work out a deal with the Department of Parks where they exchange some school space during the course of the year for some parks functions. But basically, these schools are going to pay for their own ice time. South Mountain is a county-run facility.
Matty, what happens is teams have fundraisers. They have sales. They do everything and anything to try to raise funds. I'd have to say most hockey teams have a very low budget, and the money they get from the school just about pays for their ice time, and that's about it in their league fees. Everything else, for any other incidentals, comes out of their own pockets. You mentioned Montclair. Another team that has a rink at their disposal is Newark Eastside. There's a city-owned rink in Newark that they have the advantage of playing. But most teams play at either county facilities or private facilities, and they pay dearly for their ice time.
Here's an interception by Pracher. Pracher gets around the defense. Nice backhander, but he cannot score as Petrullo comes up with the save. Backhander in front by McLaughlin wide. Petrullo making some big saves when it's counted. And Pracher has been frustrated all night. Here comes Rich Brandy. Brandy plays it in front. Here's a shot and a save made by Sidluski. Andy McLaughlin with it as we come the other way for Seton Hall with 3 minutes left to play. Shot goes wide and just wide of Petrullo on the shot by Pracher.
Matty, he's getting his chances tonight. He's just missing. It's not his night this evening.
Here's Pracher again with it. Flips one wide of the goal. Bounces off of the boards. And here comes St. Joseph's. Green Knights leading 8-2 in less than 3 minutes to play in the game. 2:43 showing on the scoreboard.
As you mentioned before, Matty, it's just about over right now with the score 8-2.
And the Green Knights on the far side enjoying tonight's proceedings.
But I'm sure John Warchol will use this as a learning experience with his team. And I'm sure some of the things they'll go over in practice for the next week or so will be the things they did wrong and some of the things they did right this evening to turn that around so that their next game will be a lot better than tonight's performance.
Sidlusky makes the save, stopping the clock with 2:30 left. At the top of the broadcast, Pete, we mentioned the youth of Seton Hall, mentioning that Andy McLaughlin is a freshman, George Schneider, Kevin Kamansky, John Murphy are sophomores. Preacher being a senior, but McGillis is a junior, Ted McLaughlin's a junior, Gary Ryan's a junior, Steve Smith's a junior. But St. Joseph's is also a very young team. McCurder is a sophomore, Sork is a sophomore, Brandy is a sophomore, Schelling is a sophomore, Reisman a junior, Passamonte, Pagomian are sophomores, Amico is a sophomore, Craig Connolly is a junior. So they look like they'll be strong for a while, both teams.
Matty, you just mentioned a roster that probably has half their team sophomores, and this is their varsity. They also field a JV team. You can imagine what's on that squad.
Seton Hall trailing 8-2 with 1:42 left. You know, I wonder if one of the driving forces behind St. Joseph's drive over the last several years has not been to prove a point a little bit. You know, I'm sure there are some in the New Jersey Interscholastic Hockey League who felt, and there's no doubt they played quality hockey, but that they were the hockey league and looked with a little disdain on the teams from Bergen County, saying, well, you know, we play the real hockey here. Your records are misleading. Those who play out in Morris County, your records are a little misleading. And I'm not so sure if St. Joe's over the last couple of years hasn't had a point to prove a little bit. Of course, this year the leagues are combined, and they're showing their class. But I wonder if that's not just a little extra edge that they have. If maybe Frank Horan, if he needs it, can't call upon that and say, hey, fellas, you know, they're out there saying we can't play with the big boys.
Matty, they made it with a giant exclamation point. And it started last year with them winning the state championship. And now they, I don't want to say dominated this league because they haven't done that, but they've surely been in total control the entire time.
Here's a deflection that went off the post. Brandy was behind Sidlusky actually and deflected it, but it hit the post. Here's a backhander that goes wide.
Let's go, let's go, let's go!
Well, you know, not only did they have a great year last year when they were 26-0-1, but since the start of the 81-82 season, they've gone 86-3. That's
wow.
80 wins, 6 losses, 3 ties. That's incredible.
For any sport at any level, that's incredible.
And you'll add one more win to that ledger with this evening's victory over Seton Hall. So 81 wins, 6 losses, 3 ties since the beginning of the 81-83 season, 81-82 season. My math has been off all night long. I can't figure it out. Maybe it was the layoff I had coming back from a week's vacation in North Carolina. By the way, it was cold in North Carolina. I did not enjoy any warmth in normally warm North Carolina. It was awfully cold. Raleigh was -9. And in the beautiful town, as they call it, the beautiful city by the ocean of Swansboro, the home of my brother, it was 3 degrees. It was cold. 17 seconds left. And again, the save made by Vinny Petrullo. Puck in front. And now the goalpost comes off of its support. We'll have a face-off with 6 seconds left.
Matty, if you notice, our official, Al Natelli, right there on the play. As he saw the play coming closer to the net, he moved from his spot in the corner up right to the near post. He saw the play develop. He saw the puck sitting open in the crease, waiting to see what was going to happen, whether a Seton Hall player was going to get a shot or whether the goaltender was going to pounce on it. What happened was a player slid in and moved the net, and he was right there to make the call. Our officials tonight have done an excellent job.
Ed Holmes, Al Natelli worked the game tonight. 6 seconds left in the contest. And that'll do it. As the buzzer sounds to end the contest, St. Joseph's improves its mark to 10-1 on the year. And Seton Hall drops to 9-4 on the season. An impressive win for the Green Knights, the defending state champions. An 8-2 victory this evening as Frank Horan comes on to congratulate his teammates, and the teams shake hands at the center of the ice, and we'll come back with our post-game wrap-up after this.
The family should agree on a homework place for every Tommy, Susie, and little Grace. A set time to start and finish all work is fine, possibly after school or after you all dine. The spot should be well lit from above and behind. Do not forget to sit up straight and not recline. Gather pencils, erasers, needed books and things, and you will see the rewards that readiness brings. Supportive parents are needed, but not corrections, unless these are part of the teacher's directions. If you follow the above guidelines, you will find the homework will seem to be done in record time. This message is brought to you through the efforts of the Roseland Education Association.
The first step on the road to a successful career is a college diploma, but college-bound students often need financial help. Suburban Cablevision, as an outgrowth of its commitment to community service, will again be awarding college scholarships to full-time students this year. Information on our scholarship program is now available at high school guidance offices within Suburban's cable system. To be eligible for consideration by Suburban's Scholarship Selection Committee, student applicants must be a resident of one of Suburban's franchised New Jersey municipalities, must demonstrate financial need, and must be recommended by their school guidance counselor. Information on scholarship awards is available only through school guidance offices, and there will be 4 scholarship winners announced in June 1985. The management of Suburban Cablevision looks forward to financially aiding students within its cable system and is proud to make that commitment.
8-2 the final score. St. Joseph's with the victory over Seton Hall Prep as the Green Knights move to 10-1 on the season. Adam Passamonte had the hat trick in leading his club to the victory. And Adam, this game really starts a big streak for St. Joseph's. After this, you've got Don Bosco on Sunday. Then you've got Montclair, a return engagement against Seton Hall, and then you got Brick. That's a tough streak. How important was it to get off on a good footing with the win tonight?
Well, it really builds up our confidence, that we know we can take a good team like Seton Hall, and it really shows that we can play good caliber hockey.
Speaking of good caliber of hockey, you can't play too much better than the '84 team did. 26 wins, no losses, a tie, a state championship. But this is really an entirely different cast of characters. It's a very young club, yet when you get out on the ice, your opponents aren't thinking, well, was this guy on the team? Was this the same team as last year? It's still St. Joseph's. So everybody's shooting for you, but it really is a different team. What's it like in the locker room? What's it like in practice sessions, carrying on the tradition of St. Joseph's, and really knowing that even though you're a young team, you've got to defend that tradition and you've got to play more experience than you really are?
Well, everybody knows that we have to play good hockey. So everybody's more psyched up. They know we have to do it again this year, even though it's a young team, we don't have as much experience. It just makes the kids drive harder and play that much harder and more determined.
Well, that determination showed through tonight. Congratulations on your 3 goals, the hat trick, and congratulations on the team's win. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Adam Passamonte had 3 goals, one of which was a shorthanded goal. I'm going to ask head coach Frank Horan to step in and join us. Frank now in his 6th season at the helm of St. Joseph's. And Frank, I guess coming in, everyone was talking about this matchup. Was it as easy as the final score indicated?
No. A lot of maneuvering. Watching John. John has a very fine hockey club there, and John Warchol probably has to be one of the finest hockey coaches in the area. And to play a game against him, you play head games. And it takes a lot of watching what he's doing and me trying to counter and hoping I get a break, and we got a few, and he didn't. And we come out lucky tonight. I hope the next one comes out the same way.
Well, Pete mentioned during the course of the broadcast, he felt that your club finished its attack very well this evening. Seton Hall maybe had some opportunities, but bottom line was they didn't finish it off well enough.
That's true. They they didn't seem to come in and look for the rebound. Like my team, I try to push them for. We haven't got the one man like we had last year, a Mittendorf or a Katz or Gazzara that can put the puck in on one shot. We've got to scramble and keep digging at it, digging and beating until one goes in. And I think if you look at half of the goals were on rebounds. There wasn't a single shot that went in straight in, hardly any one of them. They were just, but they worked hard for them. Every goal they get, they got to work for, this young team.
Tough road ahead. Fortunately for you, 3 of the next 4 games are at home, but nonetheless, it's still going to be a difficult chore.
It is very difficult, and the boys are playing about 80% over their head to what I think they would be ready for at this time of the year. I didn't expect this. I expected a lot less out of them and to improve with every game, but they've been staying and improving right from the beginning. They just show they've got determination. It's a young team, and nobody quits, and they all work together as a unit. There isn't no individual star, and they really fight for each other, and they really take care of each other on the bench, in the locker room, in the practices, and it really shows when the team works together, they can play together.
Well, we congratulate your team on its performance this evening and its win over Seton Hall Prep, and we wish you and the Green Knights the best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here.
Frank Horan, the head coach of St. Joseph's, and they win tonight's ball game contest by a score of 8-2 over Seton Hall Prep. And Pete Caggiano will step in. And Pete, people are going to think that I've grown about 1.5 feet, or you've shrunk about 1.5 feet, but it's just because of our positions, which we switched around from the beginning of the game and also between the second and third period. So, folks, there's nothing wrong with your screen. Peter has not lost about 1 foot, nor have I gained about 1 foot, but it's just a switch around a little bit. But anyway, determination was the point I brought up with Adam Passamonte, and it was reiterated by Frank Horan, a determined club. They really didn't give up.
They took it to Seton Hall right from the opening faceoff, did not let up at all. Even when it appeared that Seton Hall was going to make their move at the beginning of the third period, they did not change their style. They kept doing what got them that far, which was dumping the puck in, playing the body, and as the coach mentioned, jumping on the rebounds and scrambling for any loose pucks. They did what they had to do, and they did it well this evening.
Big lift for a very young club.
As we mentioned earlier, about half the team is sophomores, and this is their varsity. Their JV must be freshmen and 8th graders. I can't imagine what else they could be.
They really have to wonder where they get the numbers to be able to field 2 full teams when so many sophomores are on of the varsity. Now, meanwhile, for Seton Hall, they came in with the big record, riding the crest of a big winning streak, and they came up against the team that many consider to be the best in the state. But they did not look all that good, and John Warchol has to do a bit of a psychology job on his team. I'm sure it's not the physical skills, it's now upstairs mentally. He's got to convince them that they can play.
Well, John can do that. He's been around quite a long time. He's probably, as we mentioned earlier, one of the best coaches in the state. And you're right, Matty, it's a lot of psychological preparation. At this point, if the fellas are not in condition now, they're not going to be for this season. And if they haven't honed their skills by now, there's very little they're going to do between now and the end of the season to make that any better. What they're going to have to do is their mental preparation, the way they approach the game, the way they prepare themselves for the game. That's what's going to have to change, and I'm sure John will really work on that in practice.
Well, it's a long road till the end of the season. March 9th concludes the hockey season in New Jersey. That will be when the state championship will be held at the Menin Arena. Of course, we will be broadcasting the championship game, and we hope to bring you the semifinals of the state championship. But we also have another hockey game to bring you before that. That'll be on the 16th of February. We'll be at the Montclair Arena for Brick against Montclair. That'll be our next broadcast of high school hockey on TV3. That wraps up our coverage of tonight's contest. For Pete Caggiano, I'm Matt Loughlin. Thanks for joining us, and so long from the South Mountain Arena in West Orange.